Welcome to the budget meeting.
The flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just so people know, there's a DRB meeting at 6, so this will be a short meeting, I think. I apologize, I didn't know about that when I spoke on this one.
But we have to schedule another one anyways.
Do we have
Do
to
that
do one
first.
more?
You wanna
The next
adopt it?
one's the final.
Hopefully close.
We only have till February, right?
Yeah,
For the final budget.
I don't want to adopt the agenda.
I second.
Seconded by Jay, all in favor? Any opposed? Mark will not get here tonight, so.
okay, if you want to discuss I think the highway budget is probably simpler.
Pages.
So I think we might have discussed this at our last meeting that we did have a full-time 5-person crew, but we're going back to budgeting for a part-time position as opposed to a full-time position. That's why you see a decrease in the part-time labor. If we're going down the line, we've increased the budget. I'm proposing to increase the budget for culverts, for gravel / resurfacing, and slightly for paving, and a little bit for reconstruction. Everything else is holding steady there. Go to the second page, that slightly for retirement. Up to slightly for Social Security. Health insurance went up a little bit. And health insurance reimbursement went down. We took out full-time position. Water, sewer went up, electricity went up. Maintenance supplies went up by 5,000. Equipment replacement fund, we're currently at 135. I've proposed 145. And that's about it on the highway.
The health reimbursement, that's like a yo-yo. Up, down, up, down. We don't have much control over that one, but 32. 2024 was only 1,100
It all depends on,
subs that come in.
That's like paying out co-pays and stuff. So it's
no,
like,
that's for, we pay the, out of pockets, like, yeah, copays and stuff like that.
so just in 2024, not a lot of people went to the doctor and we
Correct.
paid almost nothing. Got it.
Yeah, compared to
So if this one
30,000.
stays the way it's proposed, we're looking at a 4.99% increase on the highway department.
Do we have any, like going back a couple of years of expended health reimbursement? Is that like, if it's only, I mean, that year was $1,100, so it's like, if that 30,000 number, is that like, has it historically been somewhere around that, or is it usually lower?
It depends on what services they use,
Okay.
you know, year after year. So in this one, for the highway department, I propose budgeting $7,000 per employee. And employees never go to the doctor. Employees go to the doctor or, you know, have procedures or,
Mhm.
so it really depends on
And then,
any given year.
You can go back to 23, 24 too, so you can go all the way back on last year's if you look at it,
okay, online.
or in the book if you have the book.
Yeah.
Back in the book.
So
It does yo-yo still, it's like, 28, 0, 30.
you have 23. What is it? 20? What does it show for 23?
2023. 23, 24 was 25, 5.
Okay, so
22, 24 was 0. This year was 30,500.
impact on the budget is a mill rate fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking expend, like
Yeah.
if they never get close to that 30,000, like obviously the surplus just goes.
They do, I mean, sometimes some years it just depends.
Yeah.
The year.
Which makes sense. You can't fudge that because it's,
Yeah, I think that's just something that's hard to budget either way is co-pays and, you know, reimbursements and stuff, because it's a complete, who knows, you know?
Yeah.
If you've one person that breaks their leg, it changes the whole, you know?
That's a question. Is it 7,000 per person and that's a cap or?
That's what that's what I budget for.
Per person. So in other words, somebody can use 20,000 and somebody can use nothing.
Right.
Okay, so there is no cap on it then.
Right.
Per employee. Okay.
Would it be smart to put a cap on it? Like,
I mean, that's something that the board discusses every year, but they never have the conversation
yeah. I think we talked about,
in
we
a
really,
timely fashion.
in the summer, we can't, I mean, it's too late to this point. We really need to sit down and have, insurance companies come in and talk it through. Have a couple companies. that
I
we
mean, you got Blue Cross and Blue Shield and MVP.
Yeah.
Those are your
yeah,
options.
no, it's a monopoly for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And talk about like,
Yeah, I think just in general, like if we had any areas to trim fat, which we don't much, which we all know, but one of them is like those, you know, premiums and co-pays and stuff. But I do know that pulling that out under the rug on all of our town employees in like 2 weeks is not viable. So it's like definitely something that I at least think needs to go on the docket. Like we need to start looking at other options because there's, first of all, obviously it's volatile. Like it can be 50,000 or 1,000, and it's like, but I think a cap on it is a start, you know, because then you don't eliminate it, but you're like, we'll pay your copay up to $7,000, and then, you know, but something like you said, we need to have the conversations in the summer and not in January,
yeah, we need to sit down and have a whole,
so the town employees don't find out in a week that they're on
Right.
their own. Yeah, I agree with that, but I do think like it's something to. That's one area we could trim fat, but it's not that it's not, it never has amounted to much, you know, it's just more of like the idea of it. Like it would have saved us $1,000 last year. Or not even, if people had a cap, then none of them reached it. So it really wouldn't have changed anything. So I'm rambling.
But do you have any money itself for putting in a replacement fund right now, or is that expensive?
For the highway department, I keep being asked for what's in there. I don't know the number, but we have some money in there. But there has been years that like last year, we had to put the allocation in there sooner than we usually do because they were spending it so fast.
Right, and the tractor.
maintenance is not up that high.
On the subject, do we sell the truck to that guy
We did, yeah.
for 2,200?
Yeah, we did. He picked it up yesterday, I think, the day before.
Great.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Maybe you can just ask and give us a replacement fund amount next time.
Yeah, I keep meaning to ask.
Yeah,
I asked her a couple times, but
I know it wasn't much in there. I know we talked about, talking about putting money for the truck, so I just don't remember. Take it with me.
so on the general government, I think the only thing I changed from our last meeting was played with the insurance and the reimbursement a little bit on that one. We used to, on the health insurance, we used to, because my salary and Nisha's salary comes 70% out of the general fund and 30% out of the highway. So I used to put 70% of the health insurance in general government, 30 in the highway. And Nish and I talked about it, and I think for simplicity's sake, I moved all of mine and all of hers back to the general government instead of splitting it.
Okay.
Does that reflect in this one then?
It does, yeah.
So,
I still budgeted, for a full-time Sarah's position. I still like that.
okay, that's, I saw that. So the salary does say 70%, so you're saying that's no longer gonna be 70%?
No, the health
Yeah.
insurance.
Just the health.
Yes,
insurance.
health insurance.
Okay, that makes sense to say that's not right, okay.
And this includes the one I propose here. Includes the rescue squad at 151, which if you remembered our last meeting, I hadn't received. It ended up in my old email. Last year, the rescue squad asked for 151 and the board gave them 130.
Yeah, when she said same as last year, I wasn't sure if she meant asking the same or getting the same.
She asked the same last year, but the board only gave her 130.
Okay. I think the rescue squad is something we need to, like, I wish I would have just said more when they were here, but like, I just,
Didn't have it in front of you, so.
yeah, it's
hard to do
like,
that, Yeah,
it's one of those things you don't want to lose that service, but it seemed like they didn't have, it's like, okay, with $20,000 more dollars, it seems like they were basically saying we are like, there's, we really aren't functioning very well.
Mhm.
And like, we don't have much hope moving forward. And we're leaning on like two people that are doing it for the love of the game pretty much. And it's like, so would $20,000 right the ship, or are we just like, is this something that's going to go away in a couple of years?
Just for a little bit of background, they've been operating that way for many years.
Yeah. So it's like, how can we ask for them to, like, I guess I would want, if they're asking me personally for $20,000, I'd say, well, what are we doing with it? What is it going to change?
we did do that with opera money. We gave them opera money to
What-
pay for, trying to get more people to work there. If they didn't have help or support and they needed to up their fee so they could give them
Yeah.
more money.
And
So
did that seem to be
that's why I asked
successful?
those questions
Yeah.
last time, because it didn't seem like it brought any more.
No, because it went from one number. Well, now we need this number, then the next, we're not making it, we need this number.
It seems like the number they need is more than we could, like, she basically said it's a statewide, area-wide, nationwide lack of just EMS people. And it's like 20,000, 40,000, 50,000. We can't create more, we can't create more of the people she's looking for. I don't know, unless like, I just feel like giving them a raise that's like not clearly gonna.
The historic number we used to give them before the large jump 2 years ago.
89.
It was like, I have to look back, but it was,
Wasn't it
I think when I started, it was like 40 something. And then in 1 year, they doubled it to 80 something. And then the next year they wanted to add like 40,000 more.
Yeah.
And then it was like, then they needed 30,000 more.
Yeah, since I've been on the board, that's when they had a pretty large jump. It was that money was going to solve the problems with cleaning, hiring.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, it's not. If they could say, here's like, if they could forecast it somehow with something that's like measurable and like, hey, 151 would like right this ship and get us on track. Like, if they could say that somehow, that I'm just not seeing. It just doesn't seems like we're giving them a raise and they're just like, yeah, that won't help, but it'll be nice to.
So in 2023, they wanted,
You have this, Jay?
I do.
It's not as easy to understand. I would want to know how many calls came in, how many calls did they answer?
Yeah, what they emailed us.
so in 2023, they said we need $84,000 more in money. And that's when the board used ARPA money and said, we'll use ARPA money, prove that you can sustain yourself on that. And then the following year, we put we had a separate article said, do the voters want to increase it from 42,280 to 84,560? That was in 2024.
Yeah. So it's
And-
gone up a ton.
I mean, in addition to the 42,280. So that would bring out 126,840. The next year they said we need 151. The board gave them 130. And now this year they're saying they need 151.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I personally, like, I think they should come back in because right now I don't think we should give them more unless.
Seems like, oh, that'll keep the lights on for one more week, but it's not gonna help the
That's-
systemic problem.
yeah. Like, I guess that's my point. If they could say 151 or even 160 or whatever, if they had a number that was like, this will right the ship and get us comfortable and this is what we need, but that's not what they're saying. They're kind of just like, we're dying and it'd be nice to get a little bit more money while we're dying. Like, there's no clear, like, this money will,
The other option we have is you put a separate
but I don't want to lose the whole
you
service.
put a separate article outside of this budget and say to the voters, do you want to
So we did.
bump them from 130 to 151, whatever they're asking for?
Mm,
And then the voters can say yes or no.
put it on the March
Yeah.
ballot.
We haven't
That's
come
good.
to
I think that's a good idea.
The last time. We spoke at that, right?
They didn't show up to that one meeting when we had that town meeting.
It's definitely,
I guess we just asked them to.
We asked them to, yeah, for one of them.
One year, we said, do a petition to up your number.
That's what-
That's right, yeah.
And they didn't.
She never showed, yeah.
They didn't do the petition, but then this board
Yeah, I'm not-
put it on their own.
It is hard to get help, I'm sure. I know they're upping it to $17 an hour and they were trying to get more people to work there. So I don't know in that aspect. It is, they felt that what we gave them was gonna help them get more help and support because they were gonna pay them a little bit more. That's what they originally said. My concern is just the number of calls, how many calls actually come in and how many do they go to?
mhm.
So when you look at that, like, do they go, I've been in 2, maybe 3 incidents now, and they've been called and Poultney Rescue Corps has not gotten there. It's in Fairhaven or Whitehall. I just don't know. I mean, I haven't been in a situation where they've come, but I don't know how many calls go there and how many do they.
Yeah, so like I have, and they were great, and I think it's a great service. Like, it's definitely, so I maybe it is something that the voters should figure out. Like, but it doesn't seem like 20 grand is going to fix the problem if they're like, because the way she put it is like it's a sinking ship, and they've already went from 40 to 80 to 130 and now 150. And it's like, how's this ship still sinking? I know everything's, inflation and everything is difficult these days, but it sounds like it's just a finding people problem, which money doesn't really fix, but you can pay the people that are there a little better, but not like change the.
I'd hope that they would entice them to work there because they'd get.
And one year, Katrin said, Katrina said,
They said, yeah.
$17 an hour, I can keep employees. And the next year they're like, oh, we can't keep employees at $17 an hour.
Yeah, I think they should at least come in one more time because from what she came in and said, I don't find any reason to keep going up unless there's a clear, like, once we hit this number, the rescue squad is saved.
So you're saying keep it at 130? Is that what
I
you're
would
saying,
say,
Jane?
yeah.
So we did last year.
Unless they come in and just say, hey, last meeting, I was just kind of, you caught me at a bad time and here's hard numbers and like, we can, like, that's not the sense I got. It was kind of just like, we're scraping by and a little bit more money might help with it, but might not, So yeah, I would say we stay at 130 for them. But I think they should come in one more time and maybe pitch it, I guess. Or like maybe it should be a vote because it is an important service. Like, I don't want to be the guy that says, let's prioritize.
I mean, I think it makes sense to have her come back and discuss it further, but then this board, like I said, can put it on on a separate article and say, do the voters want to give them more money?
Yeah, I think she should figure out a number to give us next meeting that would make it a successful answering calls, paying people good. Like, what's the number to get there? And if it's unattainable, then we need to maybe
I
figure
don't
that
think
out.
it's as easy as that, but
Well, it could be.
If she's a certain number,
Yeah.
that would work.
Yeah, if she's like 200 grand, fixes it, and we can put that to a vote, see if the people in town want to have a booming rescue squad that is Johnny on the spot. I don't know.
Everything has a price.
that's right. I don't know. So is that what you want to do? Do you want to table it? Do you want to put down 130 for now and have her come in?
I
With
do.
On the board? I do. What's the board saying? We'll leave it at 130 and then have her come in. And persuade us into 151.
So, I don't know, I see that there's two firemen here, so they probably expect that you're gonna discuss their proposed budget.
The biggest thing we had for discussion, and Aaron, that you're here was, $5,000 for childcare.
Yep.
Really thinking that that could be a possibility to find the other routes for that. We're trying to really slim down our budget. I'd be willing to. I'd be willing to, help in that if we could find a sponsor or find some other way to, I think it's an important piece. I think we've talked about that, but it's just a matter of like a budget item. I don't think that.
I think you.
Well, we got you the gym last year.
Yeah, I
So we
think,
felt like, that was the only thing we felt like, is there a possibility that we can find another way to have that happen, help you make that happen? Put in the budget. But I don't know about the board, if they want to chime in on that.
yeah, I mean, for the sake of cutting back, it's like, that's just one thing where it's, I think the idea is sweet and makes sense, but you said, you know, there's no real, it's one of those things. If you're like, we got this lady and that's her price and we're gonna do it in this building, it would be probably easier to conceptualize, you know, right, cutting the check pretty much. But it's like, cause it might be something, now that it's an idea, it might be something we can put feelers out and try to get volunteers to babysit. And I know it's like the 5,000 would entice it and make it a lot easier, but you haven't tried it yet, volunteer level, right?
As I said, I'm not interested in trying to set up a program that if it's doomed to fail right off the bat, if I don't have the ability to make it fly, it's
Yeah.
not, because we already have enough work to do to try and meet our.
Oh, for sure.
standards. So trying,
It's like the ATV guys, like, we don't want to do all the work and stuff if we don't know it's going to pass yet. And like, I get that. You don't want to put the horse
Right.
before the cart.
trying to find volunteers just to watch some of the kids. We would love all the help we can get.
Yeah.
But we would not, we have enough time and effort invested trying to find recruits to actually build boots, not just watch kids, so.
Could you do something for me though, could you write down like, is it gonna be on Tuesdays, the days that you think you're gonna need them? So if I was talking to someone, if I said, look, Jay, can you do this? I wouldn't know what to tell them. So we're looking at Tuesdays for 2 hours, or what time frame?
So that's,
It would be-
That's where-
I'm thinking even community service and certain other ways that we might be able to get people in there, you know, to,
that's where the hook is that I'm not sure what the level can be based on whether it's somebody that is volunteering just to take a kid or two into their house, falls into a different category than us having them at the firehouse
Right.
under someone else's care. There is that aspect, that's the problem, but it's Tuesday nights.
$2 hours.
So if they're at the firehouse, yeah, 2 hours, because we're scheduled 6:30 to 8:30 every Tuesday night, minus a major holiday, or if we're, we're already there because we're on a call. But, that's when we're there, is every Tuesday night.
And did we figure out if it's kosher to have like a third party babysitter at the firehouse? Is that like any sort of liability problem?
So that, I think it would still fall. We haven't gone into that far yet, just based on that.
We're waiting to see.
You're waiting to see if you got the
Right.
money that you
Exactly.
could try to find.
Well,
It's
we
one of those things where we're chipping
Right.
in
We
it.
got,
Yeah.
have plenty of paperwork to hit done on
I hear
our own without having. Without the known benefit.
Board spots.
I think it's like, it's a service you say you need, and, but I just think. Yeah, I guess that's my thoughts, is like, it seems like we don't have any, what I hear you saying, it seems like there's no proof of concept, like where it's even gonna be, who's gonna do it, if it's a liability problem to do it in the firehouse, if there's a, it seems like, but you're saying you need proof of funds to explore proof of concept.
How many workers would need it? Do you have any idea about number of kids? Like, the guys you have,
At
Like-
least two right now.
two
I had
two
three,
kids?
but one moved up. So no,
We're
two,
not talking a huge
two
amount of
members
kids.
that have their kids. So the kids would
Couple
be
kids, 3 or 4 kids,
3, 4, 5, 6,
6 kids.
maybe 7.
Oh, big family. Right on, we need that.
So, and they're all, most of the kids are. So that's the big push for this, is that those gentlemen, it's not, so just for me, if Christina has a meeting, kids are old enough to be self-sufficient at home and each other, there's a problem. These gentlemen have kids that are young enough that they're not left alone, can't be left alone.
I get that. Yeah, no, I do think it's important. Just trying to figure out ways. I know that's a big issue. A lot of people are trying to do stuff like that to get people to be able to go to meetings and have some kind of childcare.
It's
I don't know.
one of the thoughts, the push is, the thought thinking in our mind is one of those, there's certain federal grants for if you have a firefighter 1 class that you have to pay for girls to go to, there's abilities to add that into the grant funding sources. We don't have that need here, because the state of Vermont, of course, provides our firefighter 1 classes free of charge to us. So there's no grant to write in to say, hey, that guy's going, because it's right now firefighter 1 is 184 hours. So we have 1 gentleman in there right now. And I know I have 2 other guys that would be interested in those classes, but there's no way to, because those classes are not always Tuesday nights. So I would have to change what I said to you. There are some times where it'd be better if we had somebody that could say, hey, it's a Tuesday night and Thursday night, or it's Monday, Thursday for the firefighter 1, firefighter 2 classes. So
It's a little different, yeah.
I'd even be, if I could have half that funding to come up with a visual concept and get it working to, because that would be trying to get at least 50% of the meeting nights covered or drill nights covered. If I could get 2,500 to try and work towards having 25% of meeting nights available for childcare or drill nights, that would go a long way to try and to ease your minds to know whether it goes or not. And next year we have nothing.
Yeah, I think it'd just be easier, because it's a great idea. I've already said that, but like, I think it'd be easier to make a call and whatever, because it's just, we're adding money in a lot of spots, and this is like, it'd be easier to conceptualize if like you brought the person in or a couple persons, and they were, not that you have to, but it's like, here's who it's going to be. And they're like, yep, $5,000 and I'll want, it's like, it seems like there's no, I know I already said it, but there's just no who's doing it, where are they doing it, what's going on.
Yep.
Where did you come up with the number though, Aaron? How'd you come up with that?
Based on $20 an hour for 2 people for
Jeez,
50% of the drill night. So if we're there 52, call it 50, because we're gonna miss at least
50
50
weeks.
events. So about 26 weeks of those 2 people, like, somewhere right in that ballpark, I think is where we ended up with that. So
And then if you got 2,500, you think you,
close to that.
I know, I'm thinking, geez, I would do it. $20.
what are you doing?
That The reason for that money is that sparks the interest of people actually being interested, whether we have to find, for liability purposes, look, maybe you need to find your own babysitter for the kids for that night, and we'll reimburse you type of concept. Or is it more beneficial to us if we find out there is no rules and constraints on them being at the firehouse and somebody's just getting a little stipend, or, but however, legally, it has to be written out that they get their monies for the evening for the services they're providing.
Thoughts, what you thinking?
I think, starting at a lower number and seeing how it goes sounds good to me. Like, if you just need something to be like, it's worth my time to even call around and stuff, like, I think that's at least a start, if compared to either all $5,000 or nothing at all. I'd want to at least, that's where I'm leaning, like 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever, just to like have enough proof that it's a good idea if they can, if it, you know,
What do you
but it
think?
just can't grow, you know, it can't turn into another thing that turns into 5, 10, 20 grand. Well, you know, we just need to have proof that it's like manageable and that we can find someone to even do it. But it's not a bad idea if it's kind of like, if $1,000, $2,000, whatever, can make a huge dent on the fire department. I think most people would be okay with that, you know, but I think 5,000, it's right in that territory where it's like 5,000 unknown, like, let's see what happens, is right where people would be like, all right, you know, we're just cutting checks for anybody, you know?
What do you think, Alan?
You do a little legwork just to find out if firehouse is possible or if there's maybe interest. Tiny bit.
Yeah.
Might feel better after that.
Yeah, you need that answer. Yeah, honestly, when do we need
If
that?
we're gonna have another-
Yes, it's-
Hopefully by February,
No, before that, before February.
like next week,
Oh, okay.
I think we'll meet again next.
Yeah, that's no problem.
That'd make it easier to be like,
I'll
wow.
give you an hour.
Google.
Probably would chat GPT.
I'll do some checking at the high school just because they have babysitting courses and stuff like that. I don't do the rec, so I'm just wondering if there's somehow they can help. It wouldn't be quite as much money. It might give you less money, but more time wise. I don't know.
Community service hours.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, for
I think we'll figure it out. Find some babysitters one way or the other. Think so.
all right. Is there anything else that we have questions for Aaron or Ange about the budget?
Can I ask a question about the rescue squad?
Sure.
When they were here and the way you're talking now, you were just mentioning the Poultney. But Middletown Springs, I believe last year gave them close to $40,000. They also have that subscription program where I think historically they pulled in at least 13,000 a year. Where's that money going? There's no mention of that.
Not mentioning this, and she said that goes for what she say, the maintenance of the.
So she did provide after that meeting some, thing, didn't she? Or
Because
was
that adds up to, over $180,000.
Hmm.
And you can't really dismiss the 40,000 from Middletown Springs and the 13,000 historically from the subscriptions. That's a lot of money.
Agreed.
Does their budget have that included? No, have that.
I think they need to come back in.
I think,
It doesn't have.
give them a heads up and say, okay, there's all this money going.
For sure. We say, hey, we want this here. Like,
Where's the 40,000 from Middletown Springs and the
For sure.
13,000 from the subscriptions going when you're coming in here and you're only talking about 130,000 that you're looking.
No, for sure.
Yeah, and they're paying two full-time. Yeah, so this is very good.
Yeah, we need something that has like building maintenance.
We need, maybe after this, we'll send them like a invite to the next meeting with like, bring this.
Did we get another? This one doesn't have any of the maintenance that she did, I think, last year. This one just has calls from Middletown 31 mutual aid. It doesn't have any financials as far as where the money was, how much she got from.
honestly, didn't she email everybody something?
Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
at them.
But you break it down.
It's not broken
I
down.
honestly didn't have time to look at it, so.
That's what, I was gonna say, what I have is not like a budget format.
No, there's no like Excel sheet, because it was money in, money out.
Was
Paid.
salary,
Maybe I don't have it.
It says they have 10 paid staff, 2 volunteers.
Do you have money for them though? Like, what's the,
It doesn't have it broken down.
yeah, so I don't see a place that has. I want to know
We need like a
that's how
spreadsheet.
many calls, that's what she did before, so how many calls she got, how many did she, out of 269 calls, how many calls did she answer?
might be in the body of the email, not the attachment.
Not this profit and loss. It says annual subscription, 14,750.80. Other income. Middletown Springs, 44,285. Only 107. Mm-hmm.
It says
107.
it's got like spelling errors, but it says Poultney Rescue Squad responded to 363 calls. And then here's the breakdown. And then it says total calls 287. And it's just none of it makes sense.
No, that's the part I have, I didn't understand it, that's why
No.
I asked her.
I think it's spelling errors.
Well, I'm just not sure when it says total calls and how many they answered to, because in the top it says Poultney Rescue responded to 363 calls in, I think it's 2020, probably just 2024, is that what that's
I
supposed to be?
assume so.
So it's good maybe just to have her.
Never come back.
Right. Thank you, Karen. Do we have anything else that you, Andrew or Aaron, that you want to discuss about the fire or anything else that
Not this time.
the board have?
I mean, I think you probably want to talk about the equipment replacement fund, wouldn't you? Or you settled on that?
I think we're good on this year's jump, but we need to figure out how to sustain it.
Alan had a question for that.
Maybe we put it to the voters as well. If we're gonna do the rescue squad one, then it was $45,000. You know, pretty significant.
So that both could be ballot items in March. Like, do you want to give fire department 45,000? That's an individual item on the. To be honest, I've never been to the March election, so that's why I'm asking. I'm new here. Is there a bunch of single items on the ballot
Usually
usually?
it's not too many.
Okay.
No, usually it's not, try not to do.
So you think it's asking the voters to approve the increase?
I think if we're gonna stick with that big of an increase.
Well, so do we do that every year? With because that equipment fund is the one that's, we talked about is we need to find a new sustainable plan for that, right? Or just every year, just put up what they need on the ballot and let the people decide.
I mean, typically, if you put the increase on this year's ballot and then they say, oh, yeah, of course, they meaning the voters.
Yeah.
Then you use that same number the following year, unless the fire department comes and says, hey, it's,
Okay.
now
Okay.
the trucks are worth, are selling for this much, we're gonna need more.
Well, that's the chart kind of compounds that way, where it's like they are going to need. There's a year where they're going to need 100-something thousand, according to
I mean,
the time.
I understand that, but the highway department could use all brand new trucks.
Yeah.
The same year.
Yeah.
But they have to,
That's what I mean, because it's
That's a long
not the timeline that Aaron provided isn't a $45,000 a year. It's like a compounding. It's like 45 and 70 and 100.
Right.
So it's like, is this going to be an every March item? That's what I'm saying. So the people are excited.
is he correct on that, Aaron?
Sorry, so the request would be that the allocation goes to 175. And it's 175 every year. Half, which is a nap and no more, and we come back to budget discussion.
Okay, or maybe what you're touching on is my comment last time that our budget can't meet your current plan or doesn't seem to be able to fund that. That's been evident every year when we have this discussion that we need more money, so
So
maybe this year we ask for this 175 voters, but maybe time to look at the plan too. Something like that, the budget a little bit.
Yeah, do both. Cause that would be, so we'd ask the voters to bring it to 175 annually. And that's growing. And then at that rate, at the 175 rate, is it gonna meet your timeline goals? Like,
well, we
cause
missed,
we're still off 600,000 or
we
something.
missed this
aren't we?
next truck. But the following truck falls,
Cause that would be another vote. Like even if we do 175 every year, then we're gonna get to a crossroads every 5 years where it's like,
That's what I mean.
yeah,
That's
we
what-
need 600 grand.
Plan and budget don't match, and I don't see this system ever matching.
It'll be,
No, the price.
the unfortunate thing is I can foresee, I think most people want to put their money into fire department rescue like that, but like, we're gonna be in a weird spot if you need 700 grand and we bring it to a vote and say no, and it's like, you know,
I just would throw back at you that my take on the town hall vote stuff was they want to see a plan written with funding behind it, back up bond it. So if we're already funding as much as we can as this plan and we still fall short, we can show proof of trying to do what we're supposed to do on our end to fund what we're doing. Even if we have to move one thing here or there, we have a plan that we're not changing just based on, no, we're not going to anymore because it's out of reach. It's never gonna happen.
you know, like
There's
people,
no growth there.
people,
Almost like his capital fund he had just for the fire department.
Yeah.
Builds up and builds up. It's never gonna match. His trucks go up, but it's fun.
and it'll eventually, it'll, all the big purchases will come to a vote. Cause the budget doesn't match the purchases. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So we'll have to have a vote for almost every fire truck we buy.
We'd have to, I mean, if we have a vote, but you can only put so much money aside and it's never gonna be, I don't think it's ever gonna be a surplus. He's never gonna have a surplus because he's got the plans for every 3 to 5 years.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
spending that money. So that money's not gonna build up into a surplus. It's gonna be 5 years. I'm gonna have to take a little bit more money and take all that money and,
Oh, yeah, opposite of
Yeah.
surplus, yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nothing we do as a big surplus.
no. Yeah, I'm fine, I mean,
We'd be more than amendable that if you want to put the $45,000 increase on a separate line, that will go out and
yeah,
fill the public with all the information we can to get their input by vote. I just would ask that if Paul's alluded to that we wouldn't have to go back every year and say, hey, it's the same thing again. It's
yeah, we vote
This
for,
is-
this is the
this-
new
and it's gonna
annual
be-
deposit.
reoccurring until that's deemed by the board to move.
Same year.
Okay. I don't know, my gut says it's a place where people aren't gonna have a problem putting money, but it is something that, like, from a business standpoint, we need to get a grip on, like, you know? I don't think people in town are gonna be like, what? You know, money to the fire department for new trucks, but it's just like, the business portion is, the numbers don't look great.
It doesn't,
I wish the budgets were sharing the wealth,
Right.
sharing the finite resources that we can expend without taxing ourselves out of our town.
Yeah. But I think that would,
I know most people appreciate that what you've done to have the plan, and that's what most people would do, is you have a 5 year plan, so it says this is what we are looking at the future. Like when I want to buy a new car, I'm gonna have to save a lot of money because I can't afford the down payment on one, so it is that nice in that
Yeah.
aspect that you're doing that.
they're not gonna ask
So
for,
appreciate that,
yeah, they're not gonna ask for 3 million, you know,
right.
every 10 years. Out of the-
Right.
I think that, I mean, we can table it, but I think it's fair to just, because I think that people will vote to increase it, but so is that just a, I think it's big enough where they would appreciate the option to, have a say in it. I think that's what we're getting at, right? Yeah, because I don't know. I guess I'm for
What do you think, Al?
because it's that but because we're going to be asking for a chunk anyway. But it's a big jump where people are going to be like, wish you asked me if we could raise it that much. So I can see that. I can see it both ways.
Well, we should go to the voters, for sure. Well,
So we're gonna keep it at 175 and we're
Put it on the March ballot. Okay.
I don't get much on it.
All right, I think we should wind it down.
Can I ask something? If you're going to be putting these big ticket items as separate ballot issues, I think it's important that you calculate how much our taxes are going to go up if these are approved. Because you're seeing that separate from the regular budget that you're going to present to the voters. And these other large items, if they aren't included in that percent, we're not going to know how much our taxes are going to go up.
I mean, it's
Yeah, different lines.
it's a picture in time that depends on what happens with the grand list is, so if people understand it's a picture in time, if you know what I mean.
Right, but you're still, when you put out this, you give a percentage,
Yeah,
right? So you can just say, this is a percentage of the regular budget here, and the separate ballot items are going to add this much more to it.
oh, yeah,
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
on the ballot.
On,
This will
well, I mean,
the tax rate.
probably at the,
Rescue squad for the fire.
at the
March
March meeting, yeah.
Come in.
Yeah, I think people need to know if they vote for those items on top of the regular budget, how much that's going to raise the budget.
I think, I don't have it in front of me, but I think I did that in the town manager's report, maybe when the rescue squad.
I'd have to go back.
If you're saying like, oh, this proposed budget is it's a 3% increase, but if you add this, then it's now a 5% increase, if that's what you're saying.
Yes.
I
yes.
think, can I see your town
Yeah.
report?
Here's the grand list tax rate. Here's it with the fire department. Here's it with.
Well, it'll have to be changed, fire department have to be changed, the rescue squad, all the line items.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna go up for,
if everything's cool. It's
32.
we'll have to figure it out. If say the rescue squad doesn't pass, the fire does pass.
I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Me too. Oh,
No, I don't think it doesn't look like I did.
Aaron, I think you usually go anyways because we're there, but being at the town meeting for questions would be great. Your group could be there, that'd be great.
Was there a separate ballot?
Even though I enter the firehouse.
Oh, it was a previous year, you're right.
Right into the firehouse.
I'll have to look at my old report.
Yeah, I have that one too.
Okay. You want to set a date now, or you want to wait till Monday to check Mark's calendar?
Oh.
You guys-
Let's set the day, let us ask him, his schedule's pretty, if he's not sick, his schedule's pretty flexible.
Hopefully next week.
Do
Is there,
Thursday, you want to do Wednesday or Thursday, 28th or 29th? 28th is Wednesday. 5 o'clock to try to finalize.
I'll do either at 5.
I can do the 28th.
It's 5. I'm good.
28th, so Wednesday, 5 o'clock. Mark now.
This will be the final one. So we kind of need to send some emails out, like get rescue squad here with a clear. And I guess ideally, is there any other big thing that anybody thinks is potentially a ballot item? Because I do think it starts to get exponentially more complicated if there's 4 of them,
I know.
Because it's like, here's our taxes with this and this and these, and now this, and just these 2, but not this one. It's going to be hard to even math that.
Well, let's go through, we don't have much time, only have a few minutes, let's go through and see if there's any other items up for discussion that we can look over before.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is that Mark threw out a couple times. Let's put a number on there for capital improvement.
Having our capital improvement budget, because that would be another line item.
Yeah.
It starts to get, like, we're having the town vote on lot.
Yeah, but you have to understand, some towns, they vote on everything.
Do that.
Should we give the Rutland County Humane Society $300? Should we
Okay.
give,
It's just like,
should we give,
okay,
you know,
yeah, so
different,
it's not unheard of.
No.
It's good to know.
I thought it would not be 200,000, I think that's the start, that's a lot of money for town.
Yeah, what
That's
Mark
a lot.
proposed.
Some capital, yeah,
Not that he's not here to defend himself, but yes.
but I mean, he'll be able
No,
to
just
try to
joking.
make sense, so I don't know,
Yeah, that was too much, I thought too.
so we thought about having that done, that line items on VR.
Yeah, we need to start building our budget. I agree with that. But would you be able to, Paul, what Mary Sue said, like, is that even possible if we have four line items with big numbers to say, here's how four of these would reflect?
I mean, it could, in theory, yeah.
You know how many homes we have
Yeah.
and what the numbers are, and it's per 100,000.
No,
It's just a percentage. That's all, just the budget increase.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
That's all.
then they could, the voters could potentially add the percentages on.
I mean-
My thing is if there's four of them, it's like, this is a 0.00. They'd have to, if they're in favor of two of them and not the other two, they'd have to do their own math.
I'm not gonna have that, I'm not gonna have that on the warning.
That's more the meeting, the town meeting.
I mean, we asked for a new town office, and I told the people it was gonna be $35 per $100,000, and they said no.
Mhm.
So maybe they have a better appetite for fire trucks and rescue squads than they do infrastructure facilities.
Mhm.
I think we also need to discuss the library budget, not necessarily tonight, so
Yeah.
I think it needs to be really discussed.
So we have library budget, we'll have the capital,
You want the library people back here on next Wednesday?
okay.
Bring everybody.
Okay, there's another meeting that starts.
Okay. Well,
Any
next,
other questions for next
did we pick a day?
Yes, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
5 o'clock. Wednesday, the 28th,
Yeah,
5 o'clock, gives them enough time to. Right?
and there's no meetings after that one that we're, like, this might be the meet for,
No,
this is the final one.
you don't wanna make a motion to adjourn?
Val, second it, all in favor?